Hey guys, welcome to Holistic Mojo. I'm Sahara Leigh, and today we're doing some yoga. I am in Maryland at the Creative Movement, which is an amazing dance and movement and creative space in Salisbury, Maryland. So if you're in this area, you definitely want to check this place out. And I'm in a metal building, and we're about to get a thunderstorm. So I'm like, in the middle of a cornfield in a metal building. How safe is this? We will find out. And I was chopping wood yesterday for the New Moon Lionsgate fire circle and did a number on my hand with some blisters. So now you're doing a lot of down dog today. So if you're a down dog fan, you might want to skip today. We're gonna do probably lots of seated poses, some standing poses. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get electrocuted. Who knows? Life is an adventure. So go ahead and get comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And every inhale, I want you to think about getting taller. And at the top of the inhale, imagine that you're kind of strung up from the crown of your head. There's a string that's hanging you from the ceiling. So as you exhale, you keep that length, but sense gravity as if it's just become 10 times heavier. So the tissue of your body, the muscles, the nerves, the fascia, the skin, all gets really heavy and you kind of hang off of your skeleton. So we inhale, we get longer, more space between each and every vertebrae. You open your mouth, you exhale, and allow yourself to surrender. We're just embodying the breath a little bit more, the energetics of the breath, which is the inhale, the expansion, the filling up, the augmentation, and the exhale, the surrender, the letting go, the relaxation. And I invite you to lift your hips up onto a little bit of height. So whether it's 2 blocks or a couple pillows, stack of books, but I want you to have the ability to comfortably sit in kind of a squat position. Just taking a second here to, without any weight being placed on our knees or on our hips, open up into the shape of a squat and allow the spine to be really long. So if you need a little assistance here, you can grab the fronts of the knees and pull the belly and the chest through so that your spine is nice and long. And if you're finding that that's really fatiguing, then you can take this at the wall so that as you're seated, your spine is right up into the wall and it kind of pushes you into the pose. So if you're finding it really challenging to hold your torso up because you've got tightness in the low back and hips and hamstrings, take the wall option. And I want you to check in with your pelvis. Imagine that it's a bowl, it is a bowl, and that it's full of water. And you want to make sure that the water is not tipping forwards or backwards or side to side. So you might, again, if you've got some tightness in the low back, hips, hammies, you might need to really work on the idea of pushing the pubic bone down towards the floor and peeling the sitting bones up. If you're hypermobile in your pelvis, you're already going to have that ability, and it might be very challenging just to be mindful of not overstretching into this pose. So staying nice and neutral with the pelvis. And if you're finding that this is just super, super easy on your body, take yourself down a level. And typically we get a lot of tension right through the front of the hips in squats. So I want you to see that as you are making or keeping track of a lot of different moving parts here, you're also softening right through the crease of the hip. Gently drawing the abdominal wall back towards the inner organs. Relax the shoulders. Right, and then you're going to gently come off of the blocks. And we're going to do 2 counter poses for that. So these are going to be kind of gentle, butterfly pose, but I want to do it in the yin style. So turn around. You'll have better lighting over here. So instead of traditional yang style where we pull the feet in nice and tight, we're going to take it more yin style where the feet are away from you and the distance is essentially that of the torso. So the idea is if I was able to completely fold forward, my forehead would rest right in the little cup of the arches of my feet here. And you can always have blocks for support in any way that you need them. So maybe they come under the knees, maybe they come under the head at any varying level. And we want to, again, tip the pelvis forward so we get a nice long spine, or really start with a long spine and then tip forwards. So you might need to put a blanket or something under your booty and then just melt. So we're gonna melt in a rounded spine, and then we're gonna melt in an arched spine in a moment. And continue with your breath. So thinking on the inhale, I'm expanding, allowing my low back to expand, my rib cage, my belly, my shoulders. Stretching really as I inhale. And then I exhale and soften. And it'll create a little bit of a wave in your pose. And it will also assist you in going deeper because as we inhale, we expand. It is that same thing we were doing sitting up where we get longer. And then we exhale, and that allows us maybe just a millimeter, but it's something. So you will notice, especially if you've got your forehead on a block of any kind, that you're slowly going to be kind of moving the head. ahead and roll yourself up. You're going to take yourself backwards. Let me just get this timer set up so that we don't end up doing yoga forever. If you've got blocks or blanket or pillows, you're going to take yourself backwards. And ideally, your block, blanket, pillow, whatever, is going to go just below your shoulder blades. You may need a second support piece. So I'm just below, ooh, back crack, that was good. So I'm just below my shoulder blades, and it may be comfortable to drop my head back. It may not be comfortable. So you might need to bring some height under the head as well. Arms are going to drop out to the side. But right off the bat, we started with a long lengthening of the spine, and now we just want to soften first in a rounded position and now in the arch position. We're staying with the breath. That inhale that expands, and the exhale that surrenders. Out of it, you're going to bend the knees to the floor, and then send the knees over to one side, support with your elbow and then your hand, and roll off and come up. So hand and wrist issues are very common in yoga. I often have students that come in that, they have carpal tunnel or just too many chaturangas, too many down dogs. Hands and wrists are real mad. So this is a really good opportunity to teach a class that's solely for a hand and wrist injury. So avoiding these little things. So you can still get an amazing yoga class without having to put any strain on the hands and wrists. So we're gonna roll onto our backs. Oh, take a little hug here. Left foot's gonna come down onto the mat, right ankle crosses at the left knee. You're gonna bring that left leg in, grab either the back of the knee or the front of the shin, and flex that right foot. That's gonna help protect your right knee. And you're really heavy through your hips. So sometimes you'll see that the head wants to come up or that the tail wants to come up. We really want to put both of those down. So if you're finding that you can't do that while hanging on to the back of the thigh, then you can grab a towel and thread it behind the thigh and do it that way. Lengthen through your right waistline. And then you're going to thread this a little bit deeper. So you're just going to slide the right thigh in front of the left. So ideally the knees are lined up one in front of the other. If not, you can just start to work them there, and that's where your baseline is going to be. Then we start working on pulling the knees towards the chest. Hips and low back stay down. Head and shoulders stay down. And then if you still need a little bit more here, you always want to focus on the knees coming down to the chest, but you can add pulling the shins away from each other as you pull the knees down to the chest. Relax your jaw, relax your forehead. Think about your collarbones moving wider across the top of the chest. And we're gonna let go of the legs and then drop the legs over to the left, keeping the chest square on the mat. Into a twist. Our right arm is gonna come out, palm facing towards the sky. And if you want a little bit more of a stretch through the right chest and shoulder, you can turn your head to the left. Bring the left arm out. You can turn your palms down for a little extra support here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pull your belly in towards your spine, and then use your right hip to pull you up and back center. Take the left leg down the mat. Grab hold of the right knee. Pull it down and out. So it's pulling along the side of your rib cage. And then grab the back of the thigh and reach the foot towards the ceiling. So we're staying in essentially a lunge position, but it's as if you're planting your foot on the ceiling. And keep pulling that knee down. If it's available, you can grab your big toe or the outside of the foot. And then think about sending your left hip, left thigh down to the floor. Pull the shoulders down onto the mat. Draw the belly into the low back. And then if you have the flexibility, you can start to pull the toes past the head and the hamstring towards the ceiling. or you can release the foot and reach the heel towards the ceiling. And then let go of the leg, but keep the leg reaching towards the sky. And I want you to really push through your heel. Draw your belly into your low back. So you press the low back into the mat. And then start to, as if you were going to reach all the way across the ceiling towards the wall, slowly lengthening as you push through your heel all the way down. Good. Bend in both knees. Back into our pigeon pose. So crossing the left ankle at the right knee. Pulling that right leg in, either taking a towel behind the thigh, taking the hands behind the thigh, or taking the hands in front of the shin. Shoulders melt down onto the back. Sorry, shoulders melt down onto the floor. Hips and pelvis are down on the floor, or low back and pelvis. Try to relax the tissue in the back of the neck, so on your cervical spine. Relax that down towards the mat. You'll come a little bit deeper by crossing the left thigh in front of the right. Moving the knees towards midline so they line up as much as possible, working your way there. You may need to assist with the hands. Next step is to start to pull the knees down towards the chest. And again, if you want to keep going from there, we always focus on the knees coming down to the chest, but you can grab hold of the shins and pull the feet apart as if you were tying yourself in a knot, and continue to pull the knees down. I'm going to keep the shape of the legs. Left arm is going to come out to the side, shoulder height. Roll those legs over to the right. Right arm extends out. And again, if you want that extra stretch through the left shoulder and chest, you turn your head to the right. Turning your palms face down. Engage your belly back towards your spine. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, pull that left hip up and then down to come back center. You're going to keep the left leg tucked in. Extend the right leg down the mat. Hug that left knee up towards the left underarm. Sliding the inner left thigh down the left rib cage. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and down towards the mat. Stretch through the top of the right thigh. And then you're going to extend the knee a little bit so that that left foot is looking up towards the ceiling. We're in kind of a lunge position. So you can hang on to the back of the thigh. You can hang on to the outside of the foot or your big toe. And then reach through your right heel and push your right thigh down towards the mat. And then you can either keep reaching the toes up past the head and the hamstring towards the ceiling, or release the foot and extend the foot up towards the sky. And then reach through the heel up towards the ceiling. Keep reaching as you start to slide the leg down, lengthening through the heel. Engage the belly towards the low back. and the back towards the mat as you lower down. Once they're down, give it a little shake. Bend the knees, reach the feet up towards the sky. We're going to do a little bit of ab work here. So you're going to grab hold of that right leg, peel your head, neck, and shoulders up off the ground, pull your belly into your low back, lengthen that left leg to 45 degrees. So we're going to do a little pulse, pulse here, and then switch. Pulse, pulse. So both legs pulse. You're pulling on the leg, switch, and you're reaching through the opposite leg, pulsing. Switch, switch, switch. Belly nice and strong. Switch, switch. Looking past the pelvis. Switch, 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 switch. Speed it up. Switch, 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 a little faster. Switch, 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 and both legs up. Reach for your toes, and then slowly lower the spine down. Good, arms out. Palms can flip over for a little added support. Pull the belly into the low back, and again, you reach those legs long as we lower them down. All the way down to the floor. Give it a wiggle and a rock. And the knees, hug them in. Grab the backs of the knees and start to rock and roll the entire length of your spine. A little bit of a spinal massage here. You give yourself one really good push, plant your feet, and fold forward. Standing forward fold. Bend your knees. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. We're going to sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot back. Spiral the left heel down. Roll yourself up. Bring that right knee forward and line it up with kind of where your flip flop would go between the first toe and the second toe. Pull the right hip back, send the left hip forward. Lift the abdominal wall up, pubic bone up, tail down, arms long. Check in with that left foot. Just notice if you caved in the arch. Lift the arch. So we're lifting the arch, reaching through the left heel, and then pushing that left hip forward, warrior one. Open up to warrior two. As you do this, peel the left hip bone back. That's probably going to make your butt kind of sink back towards the wall to your right. I want you to hug that right sitting bone and hamstring into the midline. Push the left hip back towards the midline. Imagine that you're lined up against a wall here. Push that outer right knee to the side. Left hand's going to come down the left leg. Right arm comes up and over. As you reach back, I want you to reach forward with the right knee. Draw your belly into your low back and just notice if you've arched in your low back. Really hug your butt and under you. Come on back up to warrior two. Sink a little bit deeper. Right elbow onto the right knee. Left arm up and over. Now I want you to think of this whole left leg. Imagine that seam line that comes right from your armpit down through the hip to the outer left ankle. And I want you to rotate that towards the ceiling. Tuck your tail, draw your pubic bone towards your belly. Option here to either stay or lift the right arm up next to the ear. The arm is up, bring it back. Send that left hand back to the floor. Lift the left heel up. Take a deep breath in, get long. And then exhale, step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bow, round, and roll up. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. All the way down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step the right foot back. Drop the right heel down. Roll yourself up. Bend the left knee. Send the left butt, hamstring, and knee forwards, lining up right between the first and second toe. Send the right sitting bone kind of diagonal to the right corner of your mat. Get your tailbone under you, lift your pubic bone, push through the right outer heel and send that right hip bone forwards. We lengthen through the whole right side of the body, and we kind of shorten through the whole left side of the body, even though we bend it into it. Opening up into warrior two. We peel the right pelvis open. So now from this view, you can kind of see, I can stick my butt out or I can hug it and under. So I really have to draw this right hamstring and inner thigh around and almost up, wrap it up around the quad. Left glute wraps under and slides towards the knee. Really tuck the tail, lift the pubic bone. Arms are out. Relax your shoulders. Right hand is going to come down the right leg. Left palm turns up. We lift up and over. And as the left arm reaches up and over, the left knee deepens. If it feels like your butt's hiked up into your rib cage, you want to really move that hip down and forwards so there's more length being created through the right waistline as you fold into it. Then come back up to warrior two. Come down onto the left elbow. Send the left knee a little further forwards. Peel that right hip up and think about the side seam of your whole right side rotating up towards the sky. Hug your booty and under you. Right arm lengthens up. Optional, taking the left arm up. Left arm back down. Reach the right hand down to the mat. Lift the right heel up. Take a nice lengthening inhale. Exhale, step up to a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, relax down, bend the knees. Roll it up. Stand for a moment. Take a couple deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Step that left foot back. about an entire leg's width. Externally rotate the foot so that it is parallel to the back of your mat. And I want you to think about pulling the pelvis in under you. So you had a line drawn down the center of your mat. You're trying to get the center of the pelvic bowl over top of that line, okay? My pelvis is nice and level, so if I had a tutu on, it would be nice and straight. I'd be able to have snacks resting on it. It'd be fabulous. I'm pulling my left kneecap up by engaging my left quad, and I want to really strongly externally rotate the right thigh. So the right inner thigh, kind of like in triangle, or not triangle, we're doing triangle, tree pose last week, where I was talking about really strongly externally rotating that right thigh. So it's as if that inner seam of your pant leg is starting to rotate up towards the sky. Now, how's that going to happen without the butt going back? Doesn't need to. Keep that butt under us, and that's what's going to protect our knees and strengthen our bodies. Slide your left heel back just a little bit so we get a little more internal rotation. Good. Take the arms out. Now push your right hip back. Send your left hip up. Main thing that you want to think about here, you have this beautiful kind of like sandwich thing happening. A lot of times we send the hip back and the butt goes back, okay? So I want you to resist that. Keep that strong external rotation in the right leg so that as you tip the pelvis, you stay sandwiched. So you could be between two panes of glass and your belly and your butt wouldn't touch either of them, okay? So we're here, airplane. Belly lifts. Rib cage rotates slightly backwards, okay? Because again, butt wants to go back, rib cage wants to come forwards. We are resisting that. We're hugging the butt cheek under, the inner thigh up, and we are twisting that left rib cage so that it's looking straight up towards the sky. And then we start to slide down the leg. And you're going to slide down the leg as far as you can go before you start to lose that form. So great, you can get your hand on the floor. Here I am, I'm in triangle pose, but it's not triangle pose. It's just ego triangle pose. So everything stays in the line and we slowly lower down. As soon as I start to pop the butt back, the chest forward or the left shoulder down, I know I need to back it up, realign. Okay? Only go as far as you can go without losing the strength of your pose, because just like a building, if you mess with the structure of the building, if you mess with the stacking of the building, the geometry, because that's what we're doing here, we're doing sacred geometry with our bodies. You mess with that geometry, you are going to injure yourself. The building is going to fall down. So a lot of times we'll injure the inner knee here, we'll injure the low back, we'll tear a hamstring, because we wanted to get, look, I'm here, my hand's on the floor, I'm in triangle pose. Stay sacred with your body geometry. As you come into this pose, it will get you further in the long run. I promise you this. Notice if you're kind of lazy in your right quad, pull that right kneecap up by engaging the quad. If you're not sure if you're engaging the quad, poke it. If it's squishy, you're not engaging it. Spread all 10 toes. And then you're going to imagine that the left hand has a hold of a rope and it's going to pull you up and back to standing. Here, okay? Let's come down into warrior pose again. So warrior two. And I want you to rotate the rib cage only. And then rotate it a little bit more, as much as you can, without the pelvis rotating at all. Without the shoulders lifted. Good, relax the arms. Lean into that right foot, belly strong, take an inhale. Exhale, step into the right leg with the left leg, and then step the left foot down. Right foot steps back, about a leg's length. Foot is parallel to the back of the mat to start. Left toes are pointed straight forward. You're gonna hug the left booty under. Get that left inner thigh to lift up. Push your right thigh, your back thigh backwards, as if you were trying to press it into an imaginary wall that's right behind you. Tuck your tail under. Put your hands on your pelvis and make sure that they're square, that you're not tipped at all. Nice and square. And you are stuck between two panes of glass, so your chest is parallel to the side of your mat. Tail down, pubic bone up, belly strong, arms out, shoulders relaxed. Now go ahead and tip the pelvis. And as you do this, keep everything smushed together, a little yoga triangle sandwich. And then you lift up and come over to bring the hand down, the right arm up. So you've got the whole seam, the right side of the body. I'll do it from this direction this time. My whole seam, okay? A lot of times if you start to look towards the floor, rotate, whole seam. Get the butt under, get the left inner thigh rolling up, engage the quad. Only take this as far down as you can go without losing your sacred geometry. Lift the arches of the feet. That bottom arm, think about hugging the tricep towards you, and the bicep looks away towards your toes. A lot of times that shoulder likes to pop out and up. So hug it down. And then as if your right hand is attached to something, pull up. Realigning the pelvis. Bend the left knee. Get it right over the toe. Keep the hips where they are, but rotate the shoulders and rib cage forwards. And then keep rotating without shifting the pelvis. Back center, relax the arms down. Take a deep breath in, engage the belly, step up into that left leg, and set the foot down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hips down, all the way to the floor. And I want you to take your feet slightly wider than your mat. So just the inner heels are touching the outer edge of the mat. And you're going to relax your arms out to the side. Take that right leg up, keep the hip down on the floor. Cross it over the left heel or left ankle. Okay, so we're taking a side bend here. Really push the right hip down. So it's gonna wanna kind of rotate your pelvis. Try to keep it nice and level. And take the right arm straight up behind you. And if it feels good, you can actually take the shoulders over. Keep reaching through the right hand and maybe use your left hand to grab your right wrist and pull. Keeping the whole body nice and flat to the floor so we're not twisting and contorting in any way. Releasing, come back center. Take the right leg back to the outer edge of the mat. Left leg is going to come up and cross over. Extend through the leg. Keep the pelvis nice and square. Left arm comes up, maybe that's enough. Maybe you move the whole rib cage and shoulders over, and then maybe you grab hold of the left wrist with the right hand and pull. Again, rib cage, it's nice and flat to the floor. Release the upper body back center. Release the left leg back to just outside the left side of the mat. Relax the legs completely. Maybe give them a little wiggle. Arms are going to rest out at a T with the palms face up. Take a couple deep breaths. Hug those shoulders under. So you're flat on the shoulder blades. Take a couple breaths. And then just let the whole body surrender to gravity. Deepening your breath. Gently rocking the legs in and out. Slowly bending the knees, feet to the floor. Lengthen your low back. Then pull one knee in and then the other. Bring the arms around for a hug. rolling onto your side. Keep pressing up. Finding a comfy seated position again. Coming back to the breath we started with. So we inhale, get long and tall. Exhale, stay tall, but allow the musculature of the body to soften. Bring your hands into prayer, heart. Thanking yourself for getting on your mat today and for moving and grooving. May we all be happy and free. Namaste.